Well, look what the cat dragged in. Where have you been? Where have you been? Do you know what time it is? It's Russian Badger o'clock. Chat have been sat in their seats for hours. They've all eaten their popcorn. They've all eaten their pre-movie snack because we were waiting for you. I hope you have an apology written for this, or a good explanation as to why you're so late. I'll be expecting it afterwards. In any case, welcome. Before we start, if you're questioning what these names are and why I'm suddenly wearing glasses, to the first part of that, it's all Donathon stuff. You can drop by the Twitch and join in with the nonsense, and I'm far too lazy to have to remove all this stuff and then put it back on later, so ha 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 ha, laziness and catharsism. And the glasses, well, I have to try and at least give the impression that I'm trying to be intelligent, even if that's entirely untrue. So, without any halting and lazy shenanigans, let's get into the video. I feel as though with the recent stint of Warhammer content we've been doing, it'd be really nice to go back and check out some less publicized Warhammer games. Specifically, there was a game called Space Hulk Deathwing, which in of itself was a travesty of a game. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was kind of bad. So, how do we make a bad game entertaining? Well, we let somebody else do it for us in the form of a Russian Badger video. And I know how we all love a Russian Badger. So, sit back, grab your popcorn. Now that you've finally turned up, and Twitch chat have eaten all theirs, Twitch chat, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go without. Just watch and be envious of the YouTuber people who are casually enjoying their very delicious hot dog. I mean, if you want to steal something of theirs, by all means. But let's get into this. Let's have some fun. I freaking love Russian Badger. Always a good watch, even when they're the older videos. Plus, it's Warhammer. Double enjoyment. And it's muted. Okay. Take two. I'm a professional script.
FLAMER.
Oh, dude. Okay, before we go fully, I played this when it came out, and it was amazing. Okay, it felt amazing initially, but the problem with this game is everything else was terrible. Like, the theming was amazing, the visuals were amazing, but you're a Terminator that was walking around as if they were wearing nothing. I don't know. It had all the possibility of being great, but it was just let down by some slop, some big old slop. And that's rich coming from me, considering I'm the queen of slop.
Brother, get the FLAMER.
Get the flamer!
The heavy FLAMER.
There ain't no flamer big enough for me. To get rid of my cringe, to expunge me from the world, you're gonna need... Oh, it's Heavenly Father! Dude, this guy appears in every frickin' I have to talk to Heavenly Father at some point. I need to talk to him about our Lord and Savior, the Emperor of Mankind.
I would like to file a complaint.
Yes, there is no flamer big enough to expunge my cringe from this universe. See, in premise, playing as a Terminator should have been great. But it wasn't. Like, this game was great for a playthrough.
/heresy alert. If you're offended,
but then it was just terrible.
Up the lore or talk shit about your favorite chapter of Space Marines, please.
And of course, it's a salamander.
Welcome to the grim darkness of the future, where peace, happiness, and prosperity have been replaced by war, death, and destruction.
Are we sure that's only for the future? Not to sound all existential, but I'm pretty sure those can be connotated to the world we live in today as well. It's just, you can also maybe add in taxes, crippling loneliness, Twitch thought meta.
Shit, not necessarily in that order, but necessarily in mass quantities.
It's almost like...
In the last episode, 9 months ago,
it's almost like Warhammer is a satire of the world we live in.
The corn-worshipping heretic...
Hold on. That was a terrible orc war.
Whoa! Bring us on the boys!
That's terrible as well, hold on.
Who's the biggest? So who's the best? Who's gonna bash them with our gabbers? Who's gonna show them zoomies what it means to be part of a war?
That's better. To sound like an orc, you've really got to sound like you're Cockney.
Known as the forces of chaos that make the civilian casualties of World War II look like a picnic.
Skulls for the skulls!
Skulls for the skulls!
List of cornate mass.
Why is every quotable line Just absolute gold. Skulls for the skull throne.
This
Blood for the blood
you
god.
can help by expanding it. And most importantly,
Dude, I'm
the
waiting
Space
for all the
Marines of
shenanigans.
Imperium of
Russian
Man, led
Badger
by the veteran
always brings the
Emperor
shenanigans.
himself.
We are one in the Emperor.
This was also like one of the first times we got to like
And
experience
as much as
fighting
I'd love
Tyranids
to
in a
hear about
first-person
your
perspective as well.
hyper-intelligent Dark Elder
That Ash? That's just straight up Ash, isn't it? Oh, let me guess. Let me guess. Let me guess. Some perverted pyrocynical degen enjoyer mixed a Sister of Battle with Ash from Overwatch. This is not thematically bad either, considering Ash kind of looks like it as well. To be fair, I was an Ash main in Overwatch, so I totally approve of this. My internal fan service appreciator metric is over 9,000.
waifu, the dumbass weeaboo space communists, and the rattle me bones! Robots, the Xeno stealing your shit this time around are the Gene Stealer Tyranids.
Your infestation spreads no.
The entirety of the Warhammer universe seems intensely less volatile when you devolve all of your worldly enemies down to waifu material. I mean, I'm significantly less threatened when the xenomorphs have massive and a big old between their legs.
It may sound like despotic deja vu for someone to be stealing your shit again, but that's usually the way these 40k games go. Xenos are either
Warhammer
killing
shenanigans.
something, breaking something, or
Xeno
stealing something. You're
versus
deployed to
human.
intervene.
Xeno
You
did
realize
something
the shit is
mildly
fucked, you may as well
xenorific,
blow it all up
and then
anyways, and
Space
you
Marines are like,
blow it all
Purge!
Can survive the flame.
Which may beg the question from your perspective, why not just blow it all up in the first place? Like,
pretty sure that's again a terminology that could be used for anything in life. What's that? Got a problem with your ex? Well, there's a bomb. There is a yield of explosive big enough to solve any problem in the world, said the demo from Team Fortress 2.
Terminatus nuke from orbit. And to that I retort,
Because it is the Emperor's will.
It is the Emperor's will that you get into close quarters and beat them with your power fist. It is by the Emperor's will that the enemy must see the blood-curdling hunger in your eyes and feel the fear of the Emperor within power fist reach.
Deathwing, the first company of the Dark Angels chapter.
We are the Angels of Death.
The whole Dark Angels in bone white armor may be a little confusing, but it's
Also, base choice if Dark Angels are your go-to. Just saying. I'm not saying that if you choose anything else other than Dark Angels or Salamanders, you're a filthy heretic, but there is a place in the warp for you if you choose anything else other than those as a Space Marine enjoyer. I'm just saying.
only Deathwing. The rest of the Dark Angels are actually green, even though
Wait, what?
Salamanders are already
And I call myself a Warhammer enjoyer. I didn't even know this!
green, but the Salamanders are almost always on fire, so it's not that hard to...
Brother, enough with the lore.
Brothers, retribution
Brother, I am pinned here!
is at
Sorry,
hand.
anytime I hear the word
It is
brother.
our strength.
Pavlonian
We are the
response.
sons of Caliban. Let fury guide your weapons. Let vengeance be your song. We are the angels of death, and our enemies shall fall.
Decked out in Terminator armor, you're...
You cannot tell me that Terminator armor does not look like the coolest thing in any fantasy universe. Like, regular Space Marine armor is terrifying enough as it is. Multi-inch thick, plated, wholly engraved steel. And then you're telling me it gets bigger? I daren't even question how heavy a set of Terminator armor would be for someone.
larger and more formidable than your ordinary Space Marine, but not so huge.
Do you mean to tell me those 9-foot-tall mother truckers there's an even bigger version? Oh yeah, then there's the Dreadnought, which is literally another step up. Talk about power creep.
And you better believe you're gonna need this intimidating armor, because the Gene Stealers you're up against, well, they're not exactly
Right.
small.
I the Emperor. Can the Xenos get any bigger?
And you may be thinking, at least I have 2 Dark Angel Terminators to help me.
Wrong.
I know it may be heresy to shit-talk fellow Terminators.
Bold words for someone in assault cannon range.
Delete this heresy.
Heresy. It burns. We heard you were talking shit.
I love the personality they put into this. So funny. I do one thing I will give this game for, even though it was subjectively quite crap. Again, this was one of the first times we got to see the Tyranids in like a first-person perspective. So it really gave you an idea as to just how big the Tyranids are by comparison. And you think that these dudes, literally Terminators, are one of the strongest things that the Imperium have to offer. And yet the Tyranids are like, haha, cute.
Brother.
But short of dispensing a few cookie-cutter voice lines and soaking up damage, they are useless.
Yeah, that's something this game, I think, this game did the Terminators dirty. Like, a single Space Marine, theoretically, is a walking army in of itself. A single Space Marine is worth well over 200 Imperial Guardsmen in terms of value and worth and capacity. So, to take that and then have a Terminator, which would theoretically be worth more, twice as much even, I find it very weird that the Tyranids are that much of an issue in this, and that also just the Terminators in this were so bland and underwhelming. Like, the first time I thought I'd ever play as a Terminator, I thought it'd be raining hellfire and batshit. And like, I think that was probably because this game's sound design was just very underwhelming.
That is like one single Xeno. Steady yourself, brother.
Discipline is their sole strength, as in even if they are on the brink of death, they will not heal themselves unless you instruct them to. So if you really want to get heretical, you can instruct Apothecary Nahum to constantly juice himself up with self-heals like a fiending junkie, and he becomes
Hey, listen now.
Punching bag while you inflict
If the Twitch meta is anything to go by, having a Medicae heal themselves instead, that's the last bit of heresy we have to worry about currently.
These fellow brothers of yours more powerful, yourself more powerful, or grant additional purging.
I can't be the only one that thought the entire UI in this game looked like a mobile game as well.
I realize you want better armor, but I can now purge heretics in 3 different kinds of fire.
At least your objectives are simple, because you'll usually see a one-word description like
yes.
fight or destroy.
Fire, my
off
favorite
distance, and I
flavor
think you
of
already
purging.
know what the hell you're doing here. So let me save my breath.
The Xenos are coming. We have to exterminate them at all costs.
I'm gonna need more Bolter for this heresy. I'm confused by this heresy. Are the foul Xenos just purging themselves?
Predictably.
That sounds about right. There does come the question of common sense as well. If Terminators are immensely good at like holding down a location because they're so big and bulky, why don't they just sit in a corner and just wait for all the enemies to come to them eventually if the Tyranids are so blood hungry to always go? No, logic aside. Eventually, the numbers are immeasurable, but there are still numbers, and eventually, you would run out of Tyranids to kill. I'm just saying. But then that's also the question as to why you don't just blow it the fuck up.
Once the string of objectives is complete, you realize that
She does make for a good sister. Ash makes an amazing sister.
And decide to incinerate the place
She makes me question. She makes me question my allegiance in the Imperium, but also makes me question the why boner.
Consider this a clear division in the video.
Our guns have fallen silent, brother.
Because the single player, especially on the No Mercy difficulty,
Like,
can be
imagine
a
how much easier
frustrating,
Space Marine would have been
overwhelming
with a single
and underwhelming
Terminator.
with content experience where you
Maybe we'll
feel
get
like
a
lone
Terminator in
guardsman
Space Marine
against a
too.
legion of Xenos. Let me tell you about the Tyranids. But the multiplayer is 5 times better, a totally different animal, and it feels heretical even looping it in with a single player, because it's a completely distinct experience.
Xenophobia increases.
You know you're in a 40k game when instead of saying waiting for players, it's waiting for brothers.
Waiting for brother.
I'm getting too loyal for this shit. Brother. Look at Psycho. He's ready to smack a heretic.
What's up?
First of all, multiplayer allows you to play 6 classes instead of just one.
I think that's like any game. Even a shit game can be made infinitely better when you're able to play it with your buddies. Even the most boring game out there can be turned into memes and stupidity when you've got some charismatic friends to join you. Like, this is why I love playing things with my friends. Like, even a game that I would never really play myself, like a survival game, like, I don't know, like Ark or whatever, that turns into the funnest thing imaginable when you got people who vibe with each other. And I love seeing... I mean, I don't care what game Russian Badger plays, but the company that Russian Badger keeps, it's like the most dopamine hit. It's the best kind of dopamine hit I could ask for. And I'm vicariously experiencing that joy of being around other people through him. Because I'm stuck in a donathon and I haven't spoken to anyone other than my right arm in about a week.
Not that I hated playing a librarian,
My face, but I never know what a librarian looks like because I can't fucking read.
but heavy weapon specialty granted me an assault cannon and abilities like zero spread, a devastating mine, and a virtual A10 warthog for an arm.
Assault cannon deployed.
Blood ravens be like, me, an intellectual.
Ding dong, dinner's ready.
No, you got this.
Dude, imagine how cool that would have been if you could do that and it would actually draw in the Tyranids. Like, literally literal dinner bell.
With the fucking A10 warthog strapped to their arm to say.
Run to me, brother. They'll all get fucked if they run into it. Just watch. Done. Apothecary.
If that... I want to believe that the assault cannon on the arm should push your character back. If it's anything like the A10 Warthog, the frontal centrifugal force of your of the kinetic force of your gun should be that strong that you should be pushed back. I mean, that's literally how the A10 Warthog is with its Gatling cannon.
Carries are important because with half the Tyranids being able to tear through your armor like a Cheetos bag, you're gonna need an answer to your H key, which happens to be a needle drill the size of a baseball bat.
Stimulant deployed.
Apothecary required medical.
Guys, I think they need an apothecary.
Brother, I need an apothecary.
Do they need an apothecary?
This Tyranid whispered
Maybe if
in
the
my
healer's doing their job. Ah, yes.
You would do that.
Typical
typical
MMO shenanigans. It's always the healer's fault.
You by stabbing you with his needle, he just punches you in the face.
Whatever, I'm going in.
Hold on, brother. Hold on.
I just want to say as well, I love the fact that they have this model
Needle, he just punches.
for the Terminators. These are the old designed Terminators from like 2015, and I remember having like 5 or 6 metal models of these things, and they were so heavy that you could literally use them as a blunt force weapon to bludgeon people with.
Whatever, I'm going in.
Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. The cooldown. There, I'm gonna drill your ass.
By the way,
there you
the
go.
little
Hey man, how many fingers am I holding up? Turn off your heavy flamer so I can tell you.
Well, if the gunfire doesn't help save you, the
There you go.
Thank you.
retina
Tactical
scorching
specialty was a must-have because he
bloom
can
and
revive a
brightness
fallen
certainly will
brother.
keep you protected.
not done, brother.
An interrogator chaplain is a no-brainer because he can revive 3 fallen brothers, temporarily reflect all incoming damage, and temporarily become
this game had PvP, he'd be
invincible,
considered
which
OP.
Makes him broken as shit, the best looking, and overall a force to be reckoned with.
I wonder if this game still gets updates. I doubt it. I mean, the game was dead on release as far as I can tell.
Is that multiplayer
Hi, Plumhood.
offers both variety and specialization. Whether you're looking for something different or you just want to
Man,
play someone that suits your
watching this
style,
is getting
you
me
can
so
move far
pumped
beyond
for
the
Space Marine
librarian
2.
of the single player, and Retribution
Yes,
just
rend
isn't
them!
the same without
Rend
your
them
brothers.
asunder! Rend them from their corporeal forms!
It's worth mentioning at this point.
I'm sorry, every time I hear the Dreadnought voice, I just want the Dreadnought to sing to me. I mean, we kind of have that because of AI voice, Space Marine song AI. Thanks to the gloriousness of AI, we have Space Marines singing Running in the 90s. And it is beautiful. There's something about that reverb-heavy, echoey, mechanized voice. It just fills me with determination and love for the Emperor.
It's worth mentioning at this point to turn Codex rules on because it is a far less grindy experience, and more importantly, friendly fire is off. With the amount of heavy flamers we run, I'd say the Codex
Guys, as a word of warning, if you ever play any games with me, make sure friendly fire is always turned off, because I will shoot you in the ass.
You do, of course. Yeah.
Facebook says this is bad.
Don't up your DPI. There's no need to do that.
Okay, question. If I made a book and called it the Codex of Inky and said that this is now your mandate, and the entirety of the book read eat ass, chew grass, how many of you would live by that as your gospel for the rest of your existence? Because there is no truer worship than the worship of that of your slime girl. You think the Emperor is worth worshipping? You ain't met Slime Lady.
Just roast my flames.
Any motherfucker that says no in my chat, you're getting banned.
Until Lolly Rick pull out the heavy flamer. Which conveniently leads me to my next point.
Oh, Gene Stealers, little bastards.
This heresy.
In the single player, you've got to use a versatile weapon. You've got big targets, small targets.
Oh my god, this is gonna be so hard to edit.
Close targets, distant targets, so much of the arsenal you can't use because it doesn't
There's no
meet all those
there's no
requirements. Take
Nell
Redemption,
without an
for
arse.
example, the badass scatter bolter that blasts Xenos away in a ricochet.
I keep
righteous
forgetting
steel.
that they have like a...
God, the ragdoll with that is so good, Heavenly.
Yeah, it just
You
flew
shoot them
across the
so far.
I keep forgetting they have like the equivalent of a mega shotgun in this game.
Yup.
In the single player, you won't have the range to hit the dudes with grim.
Man, I actually kinda wanna play this now again.
Anything at a distance, for
Even if
that
it was a little
matter,
bit
and your
shit.
brain-dead brethren sure as shit won't
Get some-
notice them, so
get
you're
some bros
boned
together and
due to lack of range.
purge
But in
some heresy.
multiplayer, you can combine your redemption with a heavy flamer, spear of Caliban, and storm bolter for coverage.
I kind of hope we get
in
another
all
another
ranges.
first-person
You cover your
Warhammer game at
brother
some
up
point.
close while they cover
One that maybe had a
anything
bit
at
more
distance.
quality control behind it.
That's also the
For the
reason why
Emperor!
Melee is a
Sorry,
bit of a
had lady in
joke,
training.
because on normal difficulty, I love crushing heretics and merciless retribution.
As you should.
My shield. By all accounts.
What the fuck was that? Ah, yes. The only appropriate use for an ultramarine. You know what we gotta do? We gotta get the entirety of the ultramarine chapter together, slap these shields on their face, and engage Operation Ultra Shield, which is putting all of the ultramarines on the front line and using them as a human shield. Yeah, that's the only appropriate use of an ultramarine.
Is my shield.
And yet they'd still somehow win. Bloody ultramarines.
But with any higher difficulty, it just doesn't work. Not only because Tyranids specialize in melee combat as apex predators, but so many Gene Stealers can one-shot you, it's paramount to purge them before they get close. Furthermore,
Which is why you question why you didn't just bomb the place. You send in Terminators, the dudes who are possibly the weakest to Tyranids. Mayhaps you should have just sent Imperial Guard, rather than wasting the glorious Emperor's gene seed on potentially the worst matchup imaginable, like playing Fortnite and going into a lobby with a hacker.
damage is localized, as in if a Gene Stealer chomps your right arm, you can't shoot, and slashes your legs, you can't run away. So again,
Escape from Tarkov would shamelessly steal this mechanic 3 years earlier, before this game was made.
melee is a tough sell.
I cannot move.
Hey, at least you can
No,
use a
me
power
too, bro,
fist
me
with every
too.
heavy weapon,
Same.
So it may not be a sword or an
But that's
axe,
because of
but you
immense
can still
laziness.
smack a heretic.
Feel the weight of the chapter's finest. Die.
You get the point I'm hammering at. Every weapon in the arsenal is at your disposal with brothers by your side in multiplayer, instead of a handful of versatile ones in the single player, which means more fun, more purging.
At the end of the day, I think that's the most important part, right?
The heavy flame.
Everything that they are saying, even though the game systemically is kind of bad, if it feels good, and the amount of feel-good feeling you get outweighs the scuff of a game, I think that's worth it. And I distinctly remember when I played this originally. Sure, I felt the scuff, but when I had a horde of cannon fodder heading in my direction, going up against my Storm Bolter, watching the pile of Tyranids mount up like it was an episode of Starship Troopers, just felt right. It just felt right. Sometimes the worst parts of a game can be outweighed by a single moment of gloriousness. Like my streams. 90% scuff, 10% occasional comedy. It's a perfect balance.
Burn in holy fire!
I tell you to stop using your flamer so that I can see. First of all, this is a heavy flamer. Why are you flaming
What
me? I'm
connotates
right.
it being a heavy flamer, sir?
Flame does not discriminate.
Also, when are we gonna acknowledge that the Tyranids never did anything wrong? They're just trying to exist.
Opportunity purging. Hey, hey.
Please
hey,
ignore the
hey.
billions of people they've killed.
No.
You're like a disciplining
Just
mother
trying to
with,
live,
like a
you know?
spray bottle, but instead it's
Hey,
heavy.
hey.
flamer.
Tyranid lives matter too.
No.
It's heavy for a reason, because the Xenos you're up against I like to categorize as apex predators, suicidal apex predators, and apex predators so large that they can
Oh my god, seeing this so close up, you can really see how the Zerg from StarCraft were very much themed around the whole Tyranid concept. That's really cool.
described as virtually
But
immortal.
what's worse, Tyranids or Zerg?
Get out of my way, Clue!
I suppose the Zerg being ran by the Queen of Blades and Kerrigan kind of gives it that sex appeal, I guess. But then again, furries exist, so to them, the sex appeal is still there for the Tyranids. Tyranids with fat honkers. It could work.
Get out of my way!
I'm too chunky.
Yeah. Oh, get behind the man with the assault cannon.
Gotcha. You'll come up in a second.
No, we'll be fine, Clue. You got an assault cannon and a heavy flame.
Oh, they're
You'll
getting
go down.
fucked. I don't think I ever
Technically,
tried the hardest
Scythe's
difficulty.
reign is virtually
I just didn't have the
immortal, and
patience, nor the friends.
Broodlord is virtually immortal and psychic, so rule of thumb, Cthulhu-looking Xenos are superior to non-Cthulhu-looking.
There is a comment I would make about that mouth, but I am far too mature and not degenerate enough to make it.
Xenos.
What is this?
Get behind me, brother.
Cthulhu fan club out here.
And if it's a
That was a
20-foot tall
lie.
praying mantis bug-looking thing that just cuts your buddy in half and doesn't go down with an
God
initial
damn.
burst, it's either a Scythe's
Yeah, no,
reign
the monster fucker in me might outweigh my common sense here. I've seen enough Rule 34 of the Warhammer universe to know that these things, oh boy.
or a Broodlord, and you may want to start a tactical withdrawal, because two more are
Tactical
on
withdrawal
their
just
way.
sounds like
Retreat
advancing in the
now
opposite
for
direction to me.
victory,
All right,
Majors.
everything you got.
Why not
Everything you
ice,
got
boys?
to the Broodlord on the right. Just do the one close to the objective. As soon as
We
you
must
get
run
the
away,
shoot,
brothers!
hit your
Ah, that's
flag,
heresy.
After it's done, hit your
Wait, what was that? There was a meme about that, right? There was a meme like there is no surrender, there is only glory, and then it's like a space marine. This is like a comic of a space marine saying, "We must retreat," and then the other space marine is like, "That sounds like heresy," and he's like, "We must advance in the opposite direction." I'm gonna have to find the comic for that at some point because it was a funny little illustration.
I had to bounce back. I got the reflect damage.
You're honestly not going to be able to see anything. Just keep
Yep,
tanking
yep,
him.
yep.
We got a heavy
Oh,
flamer
he's down.
and assault cannon just laying into him.
Goose.
It doesn't
What?
matter if
I
you
can't see anything,
They gotta be
man.
so
I'm
chunked.
down.
They gotta be so
SMH my
chunked.
damage.
I got you. You're coming back.
That's
Thank
one
you, thank you.
down. One down.
SMH my damage, bro.
That's it. That's
I can't see a fucking thing.
When the 20-foot tall genetically perfect
Kind of similar to the
apex
Imperial
predator
Guardsmen,
gets mowed
actually.
down by a bunch of dipshit farmers with flashlights. I could rant about the bullshit psychers that can one-shot you with heresy, but I don't want this video to quadruple in length for the sake of Xeno sorcery space magic.
I am calm. What sorcery is this?
I just realized looking for that meme, we are gonna have to look up Warhammer memes at some point. Because these are beautiful. For as amazing and as epic as the universe is, the amount of comedy and ridiculous memes for this universe is just... Yes.
Yet no
I
matter
suppose that's kind
how
of what comes from
terrifying
having a
the
very
Xenos you're
satirical
faced
universe,
with, they
somewhat
all
based on
have a
our own
glaring
world we live in.
weakness with no known counter. Doors.
This is a point of strategic
Don't point that
It
out.
may sound weird that doors are the pinnacle of strategy in Deathwing, but deciding whether to
Hey,
lock
beepers.
them, unlock them, or simply power fist them open for a rapid
Wait a
escape.
minute. But that wasn't what I was going to say, but it might as well be, because that's the Black Templar symbol. And if this ship was ran by the Black Templar, oh, no wonder there's so much racism all around.
is the closest it comes to chess.
I leave only rubble. You're insisting on a
tutorial on doors.
God.
These are the most important things. Not even fucking Hive Tyrants can get through that shit.
That's how you go through doors.
This is gonna keep him out, right?
Yeah,
Dude,
it'll do
that even looks like something Heavenly Father would be using.
hack it. Oh, let's close this
Where's
door
the
behind
Kool-Aid
us.
Man
Oh, wait,
meme?
we can't.
Oh,
This
wait.
is where I'd
Oh
lock the
no!
door.
Oh no! Boom! Oh yeah!
This isn't what we're actually supposed to do now. Come, no. Why are you like this?
Get in here, brother. I'll block it. I'll block it. I'll block
Also, I realized I made the comment earlier about there not being another first-person Warhammer game, and yet I have 300 hours in Darktide. Okay. A first-person game where you play as Space Marines. Like, Darktide, legitimately, peak Warhammer game. 100%. I feel as though this is Darktide, but at home. Like, Mom, can we play Darktide? Yes, of course, dear. We have Darktide at home.
I can shut it. No, I'll get it. Oh, I can hear him right there.
Pretty sure that was the Hive Tyrant from last mission.
He is right there, and he is so mad.
He's pissed, brother.
Do not want your Girl Scout cookies, brother.
It should also be mentioned that doors.
It's
and
no longer
entryways
night with
are
the boys,
most
it's night with the
dangerous
brothers.
adversary in
Brother!
all of the Elethros,
I'm
because
getting
they can
laid,
swallow you
brother.
without mercy or meaning.
There's a lot of
Oh my god.
Oh, that seems
Jeez, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of nonsense makes all the scuff worth it. You get a moment where you just get a rocket colliding with a giant clump of dudes, and you watch the gibs and body parts flying. That catharsis, that like absolute serotonin dopamine hit you get from watching an entire horde of Tyranids getting absolutely fragged, just makes everything else worth it.
I gotta purge this heresy right
heresy to me, brother.
Glitching through the game, that's some heresy.
Heresy is now airborne. Get this off my screen.
I'll fucking light him on fire though. I don't give a shit.
Open the door. Open the door.
I'm trying.
Brother.
It's blocked.
So it's just stuck there like a big piece of shit? The Codex Astartes does
Sounds like my
not
existence.
support this
She's just
action.
stuck
I
there.
am pinned here.
Ah, they did the
Don't
meme.
get stuck. You'll experience the best the game has to offer outside of the heavy flamer, which is the environment.
Yes,
From the
this is the
biggest
one thing they
freezer
did
in the universe
amazingly.
to the massive cathedrals. Holy
Then again,
shit,
it's
is it
really
ever well done.
hard to get the environment of Warhammer wrong. It's large and gothic.
Overloading the reactor to purge it all in
And to be fair, this is something that a lot of the games do. A lot of games will do wrong. Is the scope of the environment. Most Warhammer games that do well are the ones that help that really emphasize the scope. Something that I noticed that Warframe did as well was make the immersion feel much better by raising the roof. Like if you bring the roof down too much in any map, everything feels cramped and confined. And I think in the Warhammer universe, everything needs to feel grand. And I don't think I've ever played a game in the Warhammer universe that's not at least had the immersive environment, because that is fundamentally what sells a Warhammer game.
in 20 minutes. Also, yes.
Look at my screen. I'm freezing my ass off. in here.
Thematically, at least.
That's such a good solution, brother.
God, that's actually that's gonna give me a freaking epileptic fit.
And the better decisions you make, the longer you'll stay alive, the more purging you'll do, and the more renown you'll earn.
Life
You
is for
spend on
chumps.
upgrades like
Embrace
faster
goo.
reloads, beefier health, and weapons that never jam.
I don't always jam my Spirit Caliban, but when I do, it's because of
I don't always pause champ the video, but when I do, it's for no f***ing reason.
rain is breathing on my face.
My face when I see a hive tyrant and I'm reloading.
I'm a simple bitch.
Brazilian
I'm a simple
increases
bitch. That's
HP by
far too amusing.
30% for each body part. A fellow space marine just walks up and jabs you in the arm. You're still at 100%. Cosmetics are available too, which you can frown upon all you want.
Okay, but
you
can we
really
mod
gotta
our
grind for
Ash
them,
battle
and at
sister
least
into
they
the game?
aren't microtransactions.
The skins is the
Wait,
indomitable
microtransactions in a dead
cannon of wrath.
Holy shit, Psycho, that's such a neat skin. Fuck.
How much did you pay for it?
Doom Destruction's
Did they
glory, the
pull a
force of
Crytek where you had to
devastation,
pay
torment, and
$45 to use a fucking katana
heretic.
in Hunt Showdown? Well,
is that-
context.
Wait. I can really ham that up. Just
Oh no, microtransactions. Sorry, I must have missed that.
Torment of defiance. Traitors doom.
suppose that's a good thing.
Destruction's glory, voice of devastation.
God. Oh, it's hilarious.
I would
Glad
love
that
to
I
see them take
successfully
another crack at
deceived
this
you
kind of
until
game.
the end of the video,
I
because the
really
greatest
would.
enemy in the entire
Improve the sound
game,
design,
frame
improve the
rate.
feel of the
Even with
game,
a monster
optimize the
rig
frames,
of an i9-7980
put
XE
some
and a
kind of
2080
emphasis on
Ti, I consistently
replayability.
cratered to sub 40 FPS
Ooh,
from the sheer
yeah.
amount of Xeno filth
Anything
and
under
heavy
60,
flamer
unplayable.
on my screen.
Purge them in flames!
The Emperor's fine.
You know there's something immensely wrong with your game if you have a 4090 and you're still chugging at 60 frames a second. Either that or you've downloaded far too much pornography. Ah, yes, my average attention span. Just spin. Spin.
God, are these flames ray tracing enabled?
I still am at 40.
But I'm also glad and most thankful that I had my brothers beside me, because we had Jackal, who knows everything about 40k.
Lionel Johnson is the Primarch of the Dark Angels. The only reason he
So
has
this would be, if we were to do this, this would be Tia Singer.
returned is because he's literally just asleep.
Jello,
Tell me
who
everything
knows
about it.
next to nothing about 40k.
What is that? It's my ex-wife, Karen.
Thankfully, that used to be, well, that used to be me, but thankfully, not anymore. Thankfully, I'm a middle ground now.
I already gave you the alimony.
Kids are coming.
If anything, I feel like this entire game could be an allegory of how the Tyranids are a reference to your horrendously obnoxious ex-wife. Darling! Darling! Give me the child! It's my turn for ownership this week! No, honey! You're high on crack! Get out of here!
And Heavenly, who fits somewhere in between.
Sounds like a bunch of.
Ah, yes. I am heavenly in this. I know enough about Warhammer to be like, ah, yes, that's a Primarch. Could I tell you exactly the date as to when Cadia fell? No. Because nobody can. Because nobody lives who remembers. And the Imperium like to pretend it didn't happen.
Nerds! Blood for the blood god!
That's clearly some heresy. I hope you had fun breaking heretics in half with me.
Life will not save you, foul Xeno!
And even if
I
you
would love to
didn't,
play a
you
game with
burst
Russian
them all
badges
flame and
sometime.
Bounce on out of there anyway.
I need to get Heavenly into a game at some point. When I'm not being socially anxious as fuck to talk to him.
RIP to all of the shitters in my Discord that I banned for saying the Deathwing.
Alright, thank you very much, Russian Badger. Your beautiful face is amazing, and I would love to hear you talk shit about your Discord channel, but that sounds like self-advertisement, and the only person around here can do that is me! Alright, if you guys enjoyed it, the link to the video will be down in the description. We always love some Russian Badger here, always makes good memes. I love Warhammer games. I cannot wait for Space Marine 2 to come out. I'm going to be binging some Dark Tide in the near future as well. If you guys are on the YouTube, make sure you drop by Twitch and say hello to us, and by all means, leave a comment down below as to what your favorite Warhammer game is or something. I don't know. It's your life, your freedom, you do what you want. I'm not your mum, but I can be your mommy.